just come to lift and roll the shoulders. And then turn the head to the left as you breathe in, and breathing out, turn the head to the right. In to the left, and out to the right. Come back to the centre. Lift and roll the shoulders. And breathing in, circle the arms upwards. Clasp palms and reverse. Stretch up, so this is your extension. Breathing out, go to the left, and you can bounce in and out to make it dynamic, which softens it in some ways. Come to the centre and bounce in and out to the right. Breathing in, come to the centre. Just turn a little bit to the left. Again, that bouncing in and out makes it dynamic, so in a way softer. Come to the centre and slightly bounce to the right. And come to the centre. Stretch up, palms up to the ceiling again, and just test your balance by lifting your heels. And you can increase that by lowering the heels to 1 millimetre off the ground, and the weight will go into the heels, and then lower the heels. And lower the hands to shoulder width apart. If it's too harsh under your arms, bend the elbows. Turn your head to look to the left. Come to the centre and turn your head to look to the right. And come to the centre. Lower your arms. Lift and roll the shoulders. Hands on the waist, feet hip width apart. And bend the knees. Your bottom optionally can go away from you. Just look to the floor so that the back of the neck is long and the chin comes slightly into the chest. You'll feel the abdominal muscles connecting or engaging. Press the feet down and come back up to standing. Stay with the hands on the waist and just note that you're opening up under the arms, so that's the upper lymphatic system. And you're giving space to the lungs too. This forms part of the 13 movements, this particular pose, for ultimate health in the Qigong Chinese breathwork system. And then this very familiar Qigong movement, but also Tai Chi as you fly. So you're looking at all the joints here. You can bend your elbows as much as you need to. And you can feel the ankle, the knee, everything moving at the hips, the intercostal muscles. I'm sure there are a lot more muscles you could go for. The shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers. And then just lower the hands back down alongside. And circle the wrists a couple of times as you gradually circle them up, stretching the fingers out, and then circle the wrists back. Lift and roll the shoulders. And carry on, clasping the hands behind you, aim the knuckles to the floor. It's very nice to have open hands, and that's our natural default. If you want to be really yogic about it, you can bring the thumbs together, which will limit your lifting of your hands away from the back a bit more, but that is what you're supposed to be doing. That's really tough, I think, on the shoulders. So by all means, go back to opening your hands, but if you're being very yogic, you'll keep your thumbs together and then slightly turn to the left and come to the centre and slightly turn to the right. Come to the centre. The next part is optional, bending the knees and just coming forward Once you're forward, you can lift the hands a little bit higher behind you. This is optional because you get blood coming to the head. Pressing the feet down and coming back up to standing. And releasing your hands. Just shake the hands out a little bit and then lift and roll the shoulders. And then the next movement is also optional. You can either clasp your wrists, clasp by your elbows, or they call it the third expression, the next more, the ultimate, is to bring your hands into reverse prayer. And that really connects into your meridians, and that's quite tricky. And then having done that, whichever option you choose, don't do as I'm doing by letting my elbows drop in, but open your elbows out, which is even trickier, and turn to the left, whichever option you've chosen. Come to the centre and very gently turn to the right and come to the centre. And then release the hands. Just shake your fingers again and stretch your hands up. Join the thumbs together and just very gently move from side to side. And come to the centre, stretch up and lower the hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together at the heart centre. Press the palms together and feel the arm muscles connect. Circle the hands up, touch the palms. Bring the palms through the centre, bend the knees. Slide your hands down to the shins, press the hands into the shins, half lift, lengthening from the tailbone to the top of the head, and breathing out, soften your knees, soften the elbows. Breathe in, press your hands once more, half lift, lengthening along the tailbone, chin to chest, breathe out and stay here. And breathing in, soften your knees, press the feet into the ground. Then you can use your hands if you need to just trace your way back up to standing again. And raising the hands up, stretch the fingers, thumbs behind, little fingers in front. Hands, palms together, and then come through back to the centre at the heart centre. Just press your thumbs to your chest and feel the lift in the chest. So very uplifting, particularly on a nice sunny day, but uplifting anyway. And then again, circle the hands up, just touching the palms at the top. Come through the centre, softening the knees. We're coming once more to our half lift, hands on the shins to support us. Lengthening along the back, chin to chest. Breathe out, soften the knees, soften the elbows. Breathe in, lengthening. Stay here as you breathe out. And breathe in, soften the knees, press the feet into the ground, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. Raise your right hand and circle the wrists in one direction. So this is a brain hemisphere coordination. Circle the wrists in the other direction. Stretch the fingers out. Relax them and lower the right arm. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then raise the left arm. And again, your hands will naturally go in one direction. And it's always the dominant part of the brain. I can't analyse it, but you'll always move to the dominant part of your brain first, and then you turn the other way. And stretch your fingers out, just relax them and lower the left arm. With your nose, imagine your nose or your chin, whichever visualization works for you, as a pencil, and trace a figure of 8 so with your nose. So I'm going to trace a horizontal figure of 8, and again, which way you go will depend on your brain. So breathing in, circling. It is the 8 is like a forever circle, but it has the effect of limiting your neck movement. So you've got very little chance of straining the neck or going too far. So while you're establishing your pattern, the side-to-side movement is the thyroid and the parathyroid, which connects into part of our metabolic control, and the slight up and down movement is the pineal and pituitary, again part of the metabolic control. And when we're very stressed, the thyroid in yogic terms can slightly go out of balance. I think there's a hormonal thing as well. And that connects into the adrenal glands. So exhausted adrenal, can kind of connect into the thyroid in terms of autoimmune. And then if you can change the direction of the 8, I've instantly gone wrong, so don't watch me. I just can't get my other 8 to go the other way, which points out a brain imbalance then, doesn't it? Or a dominant hemisphere imbalance. It just goes wrong. It's like trying to ask someone to do an 8 the wrong way round to how they normally do it. It's harder. But I can't work it out because you medical people there your brain controls the other side of the body, is that right?
Yes, that's right. The movement is controlled
from. So I can't do it. So then just forget that. Just don't get stressed by it, and just lift it.
Calming. I find it quite calming.
Oh, do you? Good. Well, then you're balancing your vomit. But before I get you to sit down, have your hands on your waist. And if dear Jules were here, she would be very proud of us because we're going to just circle our hips in one way. This is the first step to belly dancing, something I don't excel at. But you're just circling your hips, just a normal circle, nothing funny here, just a normal circle one way. Swirling the energy around the lower abdominal area. And then very gently swirling your circle the other way. So this often is the opening sequence of belly dancing, if Carol remembers.
I do remember.
You do remember
very well.
She keeps threatening to do another belly dancing, so okay, do it. And then just very gently come to a standstill. Hands together, just connecting back to the heart again. And just feel when you do that how you can't slouch. Your chest is slightly lifting, and again from a Eastern medical perspective, it's uplifting for the mood. And then just come to sitting with the legs out. And coming back to something that we did the other day, I've just got to navigate the delightful candles, didn't think about that. And we're going to just, hands either side, lift the flesh out from under the bottom, just bounce the legs, setting up a vibration. A vibration is the beginnings of movement and it's the opposite of stagnation. So overall health, very good. You can also just stamp your feet. And then just either rub or tap your legs. Some people love to rub, some people like to tap. Some people like to do both. It's a bit like the dry skin brushing, just getting the circulation going. I think you're supposed to bring it back to the heart if you were stroking. It is, isn't it? And then you don't have to, it might look weird, but you don't have to stick to your legs. You can stick to all parts of your body, sort of just tapping. I've said this before, in some of the training I did for yoga, they asked you to do salute to the sun, and you would normally take one breath per movement. And then they got someone to tap you on the back all the way around for 10 minutes,
Mm.
And you were doing it to somebody else, so it was a tapping thing. And then they asked you to do salute to the sun again, and all of us did the complete round of salute to the sun on one breath only. So it just showed you how much the lungs had on the intercostal muscles relaxed and opened. I thought that was quite interesting. So just circle the ankles a couple of times in one direction. And then circle the ankles a couple of times in the other direction. It's just waking up the circulation in the feet. And then just stretch the toes and just then relax them. And then bending one knee, it doesn't matter what it is. I think Charlotte had the perfect leg shaking, foot shaking thing. It doesn't really matter, just shaking your foot, shaking out any energy. There is a symbolic aspect to this as well. And then just swing the knee. The synovial fluid, I've remembered, is getting moved. And then just very gently lower the leg along the ground. And of course transferring the hands to the other leg, lifting it up, doing your shape, whatever works for you. And then just swinging through the knee. If you ever want to exercise the knees safely, this is a really good way to do it, just to get the fluid moving. You're not putting the knee under any strain. You can do it while you're sitting, waiting on a chair, just bouncing if you're getting slightly distracted. But you want to get distracted from waiting. That's a very easy thing to do. And then just very gently release and bounce again. And then we're going to come to a line and hugging the knees into the chest. Just gently rock from side to side. So depending on how tightly you hug your knees into the chest, if you let your knees drift a little bit further away from you and then rock from side to side, you'll be accessing that GB30 point.
Where's that?
So it's the top of the bottom, so it's about there. It's just on that point. And that's a very key massage point for the lower back, motor weakness, pelvic pain, degeneration, muscle degeneration. And it's very easy to access while you're just slightly rocking from side to side. And it feels very satisfying because the weight of the body, the more you rock, the more you get into that GB30 point. And then very gently place your left foot on the floor and extend the left leg along the ground and keep your right knee hugged in. So just to mess with our minds again, a figure of 8 with the knee, the right knee, and it can either be vertical 8 or a horizontal 8. I leave that to you. So just, if a figure of 8 is all too much for you, then just come to circling the knee. I'm doing a vertical 8, I think. And then the invitation is to reverse your 8. You're moving the thigh and the hip socket. And then just hug the right knee into the chest and roll the entire body over to the left. You might like to use your right elbow to just assist that roll. Place your right hand loosely on your waist and your left hand will go somewhere along the outside of the right thigh. If you want to increase the stretch, you can raise your right elbow bent and then stretch the right arm out above you, almost diagonally or above you along the floor, or otherwise just keep your right hand on the waist. And if you want to increase the stretch, extend your left heel. But again, all these are options. And your head will look upwards or slightly to the right. So this is a supine twist, and as such, you're extending the muscles along the spine, so it realigns the spine. And quite often, the muscles, particularly at the lower pelvic level, can shorten because we don't use them quite so much, or we use them in particular ways. And so this goes quite some way just to rebalance that at the lower level. And then just very gently roll onto your back, hug your right knee into the chest once more, and place your right foot on the floor. Bend your left knee and hug your left knee into your chest. Your right leg can stay bent for the moment or stretch it out along the floor as we come to our figure of 8, and notice which way you go, because it reflects our brains, it reflects our brain patterns and which part is dominant. And in the same way, graphology, handwriting, reflects our brain patterns. So very spidery writing or very heavy writing, slanting massively to one direction or the other, all gives indications about our inner landscape, I suppose. And then reverse your 8. And again, you'll be not interested to me. I just can't seem to do it on my left leg. It just goes in a peculiar way. And then very gently hug the left knee into the chest and roll the entire body over to the right. You might want to have your left elbow to support you as you roll over. Just have your right hand on the outside of your left thigh and your left hand on your left waist. If you want to extend that, you can bend your left elbow and just stretch your left arm up above you to give a greater stretch. Opening up under the armpit connects into the upper lymphatic system. And you can always at home have a cushion underneath your left knee to support this supine twist, this supine rotation. How much you rotate is up to you, and your head can look up or slightly to the left, eyes open or closed. And finally, if you want to extend your right heel, that's an option for you to engage the muscles either side of your right leg. And then very, very gently just roll onto your back again, hugging your left knee into the chest. Hug the right knee into the chest. And massaging up and down the lower spine as you hug both knees into the chest, relaxing as you let both knees, while you still hold them, drift away from you to arm's length. Hugging both knees into the chest, letting both knees drift away to arm's length. Both knees into the chest, and both knees away to arm's length. And again, a couple of times in your own breath pattern, just enjoying this hugging in and out and working on the apana energy, the downward energy from the lower abdominal area down through to the feet, and it is the foundational energy. So if this energy is out, all energies are out. And you'll note that this mimics or resembles the fetal position, so it is brilliant for lower back pain and for pain generally. And then just bring your feet to the floor. Just let both knees, either palms down alongside you or palms on the abdomen, let both knees just sway gently from side to side. And you can let the head join in too, so the head can move. Generally, it moves away from the direction of the knees, but if you find your head's drifted in the direction of the knees, that's absolutely fine too. And the head is being supported by the earth, so the neck muscles and the shoulders can begin to relax, everything's being supported. Once the body has gone into some kind of tenseness, it can take some minutes for the muscles to start to relax. But the body is no longer being asked to hold the muscles, and so the weight of the head and the movement of the knees comes drifting into something called somatic movement, which connects the sensory feel of the movement and takes, in theory, the mind out of the equation. So this is one of the classic somatic movements. And then rolling to the side. So in classic terms, you'd move to the right, away from your heart, and come up to being on your knees. But if you want to rock up, that's fine too. And we're going to come to all fours. So those of you, I'm just thinking, Rosie, you need to make modifications, maybe keep it more neutral if you need to keep it more neutral. It's very gentle, but just flanking that up. So just swaying the bottom from side to side, and again repeating this figure of 8, if again optional. So you can move your bottom in a figure of 8. I'm making my 8 vertical. So I'm slightly coming forward on my hands at the top of the 8 and slightly bringing my bottom back towards my heels. The movement can be a little bit, or you can make it much more exaggerated if you want to. Circling in your 8, whatever works for you. And then think about reversing your 8. And then just very gently come to your classic cat. Round your back, your chin comes to your chest. Vagus nerve is activated, which is great for anti-inflammation. And then breathing in, dipping your back, either looking up or along the mat, depending on your neck capacity. Breathing out, rounding the back, chin to chest. You're warming the spine up here and then dipping the back. Very restful for the heart, because the heart largely remains parallel to the ground. Again, in your own time, a couple of cat cows. If you want to put in an extra abdominal awareness here, next time you come to dipping your back and either looking up or along the floor, just stay here. And then just gently dip your elbows and straighten them again, and you'll feel a pull in your lower abdominal area. So you just dip your elbows a nano amount, and then straighten the elbows, and you'll feel that pull in the lower abdominal area. Just one more time to feel it, dipping, and then just straightening. So you really will feel that tense or that tautness in the lower abdominal area. And with your bottom up, this is a really strange movement. It's called Ashwini Mudra. So just tense the bottom. Well, it's a perineum, but the bottom tenses as well and release. So it's like a horse, but tensing and releasing, and you're toning your abdominal, lower abdominal sort of GI tract. And again, this is another very valuable internal toner. The Ashwini is like the horse's tail, which swishes from side to side. And then just release that Ashwini Mudra and come to a seated position. If sitting cross-legged is not good for you, then sit with your legs out. And just gently bring your hands to either side of you. Lengthen your body, and then just release, relax, hold your elbows, turn your head to the left, come through to the centre and turn the head to the right. Come to the left as you turn back to the left, and turn to the right. Come to the centre. So this combines all neck movements. Slightly lift your chin up, raise your eyes, breathing out chin to chest. Come back to the centre, turn to the left, come to the centre and turn to the right. Come to the centre. Breathing in, slightly lift your chin, raise your eyes. Breathing out, chin to chest. Come to centre, turn to the left, centre and turn to the right. Come to the centre. Again, up, down, left, right. Come to the centre. Up is sa, down is ta, left is na, and right is ma. Circle of life. Come to the centre. Sa, ta, na is death, and ma is rebirth. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And last one, sa, ta, na, ma. Come to the centre. In Kundalini Yoga, you do that 50 times, and it's a total metabolic rebalance because you're looking at the thyroid, parathyroid, pineal and pituitary, which is part of your metabolic control. So this particular breath is a modification of Brahmari breath. And the reason it's audible, there are several things here. It basically ups your nitric oxide level, and Sarah and Charlotte between you could probably tell more than I can. Upping your nitric oxide level in your body is very beneficial because
Relaxes smooth muscle, causes vasodilation, dilation of bronchi, and it also mops up oxygen-free radicals, so it's sort of anti-inflammatory as well.
So, you would do Brahmari breath. Full Brahmari is something else. This is very simple. If you don't want to hum, I completely get it. Just store it in your memory for doing it at home. You breathe in and you audibly hum out. And just do it in your own time. So we're all going to be humming these at different times. 5 times. Three. Fabulous breath control. Lost count now. And last one.
Get short of breath for everybody.
Don't worry.
Is that a
I
problem?
think Charlotte's the queen here. And then I know that Sarah said, thinking that you Sarah, you said it's very good for asthma, and it's also very good for tinnitus and for hearing because the vibration sets up, is it an oscillation in the little bones of the ears? So we're going to come to standing, and it doesn't matter, you can just do it at home, don't just practice it at home or whatever.
The end, you practice that at home, you're saying?
Yes, you can practice that at home.
Well, I have done, yes, but I'm shorter of breath than everybody else. I've run out of breath more
You're
quickly.
smaller. You're much smaller than me, so I've got a much bigger space in which to have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Right. Yes, I'm just aware that you do so
Don't panic,
much.
you just do lots of lungs, and it will increase
Okay,
your
lots of runs.
capacity. Yes,
I've tried it at home, yes. It's good for the ears.
yes, very,
Yeah.
very good for the ears, and then just rolling up. So this comes into very Tibetan movement, which a couple of you have done. And this first one, I thought I would read you like I did yesterday. So this first one improves the intellectual facilities, lucidity, physical general condition, and ailments related to the 5 solid organs, so the heart, lungs, liver, spleen, and kidneys. And I think it's because it's giving space for the lungs, but also you're slowing your breath down, so we've already done the Brahmari, so everything's just relaxing, the blood's going through. So just lift and roll the shoulders, and just open the arms out, and then just bring them to here. So that in itself is quite a stretch, I think. We don't often do that, and just take a couple of breaths. Makes you stand up a bit better. It's just something we don't often do. Open the arms out and lower the arms. And then the slightly easier one of opening the arms and bringing the arms to below the bust area. Almost like, again, I find that easier, just taking it in and an out breath. Opening the arms out and lowering the arms. And then opening the arms out and raising the arms, just hold your elbows. Again, in the ideal world, your head's not coming forward, so you're standing straight, but that depends on your anatomy and not necessarily easy for everybody. Just a couple of breaths in and out. Open your arms out and lower. If you can remember which arm you held, open your arms out. You're going to hold the other one. And, I can't remember, just turn it the other way around. Again, it's the alternative hold. You're stretching your upper lymphatic system all under the arms, those sort of back wingy arms, things stretching here. But even I'm just slightly bringing my head forward, I noticed. And then just releasing out and lower. So this next one, I have to really think and look hard. So make 2 fists. Bring your right fist to the forehead for women and your left fist onto your ribs. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then just take your right fist to the nape of the neck. And this opens out under the right arm even more, giving a lot of space for your lungs. It's making you stand up in a slightly different way. And then opening your arms out and lowering the arms. So make fists again, and you reverse it. So think left fist to the forehead, right fist on somewhere along the right ribs. Again, it just lengthens you. I'm standing in a slightly different way. I'm more aware of where my feet are placed. And then again, just slide your hand over the back, nape of the neck. This will open out under the left arm. Really pulls. If that is too much for anybody, just bring your elbow in so that it's not causing you any pull. And then just open out and just release and lift and roll your shoulders. Open your arms out, make fists. You're almost looking like a heart. There's just both. Again, this is just a slightly different pose. You're not necessarily doing this every day. And then again, drop both hands to the nape of the neck, and that's quite challenging. Opening out under the arms. Make any adjustments if that's too much for you. We're not used to opening our arms out in this way. Just bring your hands now to the ears, bringing the sound in internally, just for a moment. And then hands out. Stretch your fingers and lower your arms. Cross your right foot over your left. Balancing. Raise your arms up. I'm not going to give you instructions. One wrist will naturally hold the other wrist. And just go to one side. And then you might want to change wrists and go to the other side. Come to the centre and lower the arms. Uncross your right leg. Cross your left leg over your right. Raise your arms up. Again, just hold one wrist and just go to one side. The crossover of your legs, by the way, and then goes to the other side, and the arms, registers in your brain as a crossover. So my understanding is that it encourages neural pathways, even though you're not doing, you think that much. Come to the centre and lower your arms. Lift and roll your shoulders, uncross your legs. Just go to the side. I'm holding my thumbs. And then going to the other side, lifting my heel up to aid me, or help me, but you don't have to. It's a version of the going from side to side. Again, you're going into all 5 energies, just stretching out here. And then come to the centre, lift and roll your arms. And then come to sitting with your legs out in front of you. That series of exercises that we did with the fists works the thoracic region ailments, arms and shoulders, neurological disorders, again the crossing over of the feet, and functioning of the small and large joints of limbs. And this next one that we're going to do, which is a forward bend, works the lumbar region, the 5 solid organs, which are heart, lungs, digestion, including digestion, and liver, spleen and kidneys, and then the 6 hollow organs as well, which are small and large intestine, gallbladder and urinary bladder. So it does quite a lot. So arms out in front of you, legs out in front of you, flesh out from under your bottom. This time just cross your right leg over your left, raise your arms up, tummy in, perineum engages, bend your elbows to slide them down on top of your right leg. Just take a couple of breaths in and out. So this is a forward bend, bringing breath or focusing breath into the back of the body and calming for the nervous system. The chin comes to the chest. You don't have to stretch completely down. If you've got long arms, you can hold on to your foot, but if you haven't, just relax your hands on your shins somewhere. Slide your hands up, uncross your right leg. from the left, just wave your feet from side to side. And then cross your left ankle over your right. Raise the hands up. And breathing out, soften your elbows as you slide down. And this particular exercise is also is very good for the seminal, as well as the solid organs and hollow organs, for the seminal vesicles or ovaries. So basically our
Okay. We
our
haven't got several vesicles.
girls or ovaries. So it's very good for our whatever. Our bids.
Or fertility that we all have at the moment.
Yes, our fertility.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Or
But
form of
even
fertility.
though we might have lost our fertility, the meridian organs still exist. And then just very, very gently kind of sliding up, uncrossing your legs. And lift and roll the shoulders, just hands back. It doesn't matter, your fingers are supposed to point forward, but just you can be out to the side. Just lift your chest, lift your chin slightly and look up. So this becomes a mindfulness exercise. Just take a couple of breaths here. Your eyes upwards disconnects the eyes from the stress centers of the brain, is my understanding here. Bring your head upright. Have your legs out in a V. Extend those heels. And just slide your hands down, just a straightforward, central forward bend. If your hands can touch your big toes, you've got long arms, great. If not, then just, and again, it's nothing to do with flexibility, it's all to do with anatomy, I think. So again, the space between the vertebrae at the back is increased slightly. You're getting more breath into your forward bend, which is calming for the nervous system because the vagus nerve is activated with the chin coming slightly more to the chest. Back of the neck is long, allowing blood flow. The heels extend and activate the legs, the muscles either side of the legs. Which when we stand, we forget that. Sometimes we don't engage the muscles fully as we stand. And then very gently, just come sitting up. Come to either legs out. I'm going to come to a cross-leg position. And I'm going to address Rosie's question about breathing. So just have your hands anywhere and have in mind just relaxed on the knees. And we're going to do something called step breath that has many names. And my understanding is it's practiced by the Royal Brompton for people, for lungs, to increase their capacity. So imagine your lungs like a balloon and breathe in a little bit. Hold the breath, breathe in a little bit more. Breathe into the full amount. Your lungs are stretched like a balloon and then just breathing out all in one go. You can do that through your mouth or your nose. I know yoga says nose, but you can do either. Breathing in to your own time. You step the breath into 3. One, a little bit more. Bring you totally. And breathe out. And do that a couple of times in your own breath pattern. It's a way of increasing the lung capacity. And then we reverse it, which most people don't like so much, but it is balancing your lungs up. So you breathe in one go, and then you step the breath out, one, and then another bit more, and then totally. Again, breathe in one big go, and step the breath out. And then in your own time, a couple of breaths. And then just come back to normal breathing. You can do that anytime. In yogic training, sometimes they also invite you to breathe through your mouth, but through a straw, which limits your intake of breath. I find that quite distressing because I suddenly can't breathe and I panic. So it's an option. And then very gently just come to bring your attention to the base of the nostrils, breathing into the center of the head, and let the breath float down, leaving through the feet. Again, breathing in through the nostrils to a point in the center of the head, and breathing out, floating the breath down. Just pause for a moment to have a thought for the day. It can be for you or someone close to you. And just mentally think that thought. It's called a sankalpa. Some traditions in yoga use sankalpa or the thought for the day, others don't. It's often associated with yoga nidra, but certain traditions don't use it. And have the mere thought of, or the mere action of thinking of it a couple of times, 3 times in fact, is said to set the intention for the day. And now choose a colour, any colour, and breathe in your coloured air to the centre of your head. Just let it float down, cleansing as it goes, leaving through the soles of the feet. And then as you breathe in, your coloured air just expands a little bit beyond your body into your magnetic field, your auric field. So it's just cocooning and wrapping your entire body and breathing out, just letting it go. And then this is another Tibetan breath focus. Just breathe in normally. And as you breathe out everything to the edge of your body. It can be wherever you want to, anything you don't want. So breathing in again and breathing out anything you don't want to the edge of the body. It could be local or through the feet. It doesn't matter how you breathe out. And as you next breathe in, now breathe out a little bit further and imagine it's to the edge of the world. So you really are breathing out further. And again, breathing in and breathing out, putting in anything you don't want, emotional pain, out to the edge of the world. And the final breath in, as you breathe out to the edge of the universe. So it's totally out of your orbit. And again, breathing in and breathing out to the edge of the universe. And take your hands to your heart, taking a bow for yourself. Have a very lovely day ahead, and thank you for joining me today. Just letting you go.